Austin Metcalf. You see the boy in Frisco stabbed to death by Carmelo Anthony?
Yeah. My heart goes out to the family. They trying to make this a race issue, and this is a right or wrong issue.
Okay. So no, real quick, I like where you're going on this because I'm not even trying to race bait or anything. People are making this about black and white. Well, what do you think's going to happen in this Austin Metcalf thing?
Metcalf had to go. Look, no, that boy going
Carmelo
to jail.
Anthony's going to go to jail.
Carmelo going to jail. We was taught in homes that has morals and values. You tell the teacher. Somebody fucking with you, you tell the teacher. Let the teacher know, so when y'all have an altercation, you're cleared and you're covered.
What's going on, America, the rest of the world? Xander J. Hobson here, comedian, director and producer of boxing documentaries and troll to those who need trolling. This here is another episode of The Devil's Advocate, brought to you by the Brilliant Artist Movement. Folks, listen. I'm trying to grow the platform, so please subscribe, like this video, share it, and by all means leave a comment in the comment section because I enjoy checking out the feedback from these videos that I make, as well as exchanging opinions and points of views with you all.
Charleston be on it 100%. If he was so afraid and it wasn't premeditated, because that's what it's looking like, why are you sitting in the opposing team's seats waiting for a confrontation with a knife in your backpack, and you have never alerted the authorities? And he's 100% right. They are now about to make this a race issue, and this is, in my opinion, not a race issue.
So anyway, shout out to my man, Anton Daniels. I've been following Anton for a spell. I got turned on to him, watching him and Charleston White bust it up. And a lot of things with Anton, I rocks with him. You know, I think he's a motivational guy. And I think Anton's heart is in the right place. But the one thing that I will say that I found very disappointing when I was watching Anton recently was his harsh stance against Carmelo Anthony.
What I'm starting to see, I see a lot of people talking online how they raised over $250,000 up to $300,000 as a recording of this video for that boy's defense, but they're only doing it because he's a black boy. If it was the other way around, there's no way that they would even be having this conversation about whether or not he defended himself or not. They would absolutely 100% be looking at it objectively, but the skin color is the thing that keeps people locked away in their emotions, and they never can get past it, which is one of the reasons why they make an emotional decisions.
And I think it's pretty jive when a black man or woman becomes so far removed from this thing called the black experience. I don't understand how any black man could not be sympathetic toward another black man in their encounter with white people. You know, now everything isn't racism. You know, the white man is responsible for a lot of things, but he's not responsible for everything. And I think that Anton and I will agree on that. But I think it's a bad thing when a black man or woman becomes so far removed from the harsh reality that is the black experience. And what transpired with Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf, that was the black experience. You have this young white guy with a false sense of security in regards to how important he thought that he was, and he ended up getting himself killed because he went over there and started harassing a black guy pretty much for nothing. And it's sad because Austin Metcalf died for nothing. Because again, I can't stress enough, what type of person was Austin Metcalf if he was going to kick somebody from underneath a tent and it's pouring down raining out there?
And this boy went in there, from what I've read and from what I've observed and all of the news reports and the different witness accounts that they putting out there online and stuff like that, he went in there premeditated with a knife talking about I'm about to have some self-defense. Does it mean that the confrontation is 100% pure on one side? Nope, but you definitely do not take somebody's life premeditated, going over and sitting in the opposite team seats, looking for a confrontation, and then find yourself in this situation, and now you claiming race. Charleston is 100% right.
But nevertheless, now people like to always try to say it's not about race, but it's always about race. And Anton, I'm sure you know that. I seen a video with you when you got into it with a white dude, the old white guy, you know, and you say what you want to say. It was about race. That old white man, Anton, he had an issue with you because he did not like your confidence. He didn't like the pep in your step. He didn't like the fact when you held a conversation with him and the other people in that store that you exuded confidence and your self-esteem was through the roof. And he had an issue with that, you know? So whenever people say that it's not about race, no, it's definitely about race, because if it wasn't about race, you wouldn't have to say it. You get into a car accident with somebody and they happen to be of a different race, it's not about race. You make a mistake and bump into somebody and they're from another race, that's not about race. But if the situation escalates, it's going to be about race, because guess what? You can't help but to see the white guy that you're having an argument with, or the Hispanic guy who you just got into a fight with at work. It's about race. And the thing that makes me mad, black people are the only race of people who have bought into the doctrine it's not about race. Of course it's about race. The Chinese guy gonna always side with the Chinese guy. The Irish guy gonna always side with the Irish guy. The Filipino guy is gonna side with the Filipino guy. But black people are the only individuals, or the only race of people who break ranks.
The entitlement that some people feel is insane. Even if it's raining, nobody owes you anything.
So when you see a 17-year-old kid enact enormous amount of brutality in a quick amount of time, like, where does that come from? Because look, let's go ahead and assume that this story is true with what the Twitter handle is saying, and saying that the twins tried to jump him, right? Stabbing? Why do you have a knife at a track meet, dude?
Why are you sitting in the opposing team's seats waiting for a confrontation with a knife in your backpack, and you have never alerted the authorities? And it's 100% right.
And I see so many of these black bloggers on here going against Carmelo Anthony, saying all kind of bad things about this young man, when in reality, Austin Metcalf is the one who's from the broken home. Austin Metcalf is the one who had a father with a criminal background. And Anton, you up there co-signing Charleston White.
Well, what do you think's going to happen in this Austin Metcalf thing?
Metcalf had to go, look, no, that boy going to jail.
Carmelo Anthony's going to go to jail.
Carmelo going to jail.
He don't even know the name of the individual who he's talking about. The white guy had to spoon feed him the correct name, because Charles is sitting up there just trying to collect a check, bashing black people. But you, Anton, come on, man, you got more substance and depth to you than that.
The easiest way to make money on YouTube now is to be black and be a conservative and say negative things about black people. So there's all sorts of black conservative commentators. Give him life. He's a killer. Maybe. I don't know.
Anton, I would just expect a little bit more out of you, because you are an intelligent guy. Now, I seen Al Prophet talking about it's lucrative for blacks to get on YouTube and take a conservative view and go against other blacks. And personally, Anton, I would like to believe that this doesn't apply to you. You know, I saw a clip, Anton, again, when you and the old white guy was going at it. And I mean, you handled that masterfully. But if somebody wanted to be critical of you, Anton Daniels, they could have been critical of you about how you handled that old white guy. But I think you handled it masterfully. But you also knew that if things would have got south with you and that old white guy, the deck would have been stacked against you. So why couldn't you extend the same courtesy to Carmelo Anthony, Anton? You know what it's like to be a black man. And when I seen you on that video co-signing Charleston White, who another black man who know what it's like to be a black man and have the deck stacked against you, man, that was just really distasteful. That was just really distasteful. And I tried to find that video with you and the old white guy, Anton, and I couldn't find it. And I want to know, but did you have it taken down? Were you embarrassed by it? I mean, what's the deal? Because I also saw the video where the young lady was pressing you about your encounter with the old white guy. The same way you was pretty much being critical of Carmelo Anthony, the young lady was being critical of you in your interaction or dealing or your skirmish with the old white guy. But my question is, Anton, why did you take the video down? Were you embarrassed by the video? Did you not want a video posted of you and this old white guy going back and forth because you were giving your critical critiques of Carmelo Anthony? So this is what I was thinking about, because Anton, you my guy. I rocks with you for the most part on probably maybe like 75% of what comes out your mouth. Hey man, I co-sign it. But I just thought it was really distasteful that you behaved as if you didn't know what it's like to be a black man who was being pressed by a white man. And see, you got lucky, Anton, because you got into it with an old white guy. Now, I seen the video with you and the young white guy, but again, you and that young white guy wasn't face to face. But you was getting pressed by an old white guy, Anton. Imagine what might have transpired and how you might have had to respond if you would have been face to face with that young white guy who you was going at it with. So, this is what I was thinking about. A lot of people, they're superheroes in these YouTube streets. But the real test is, how do you behave when you come face to face with a real life adversary? So, with that said, man, salute to my guy, Anton Daniels. He's my guy for the most part. But when it comes to this situation concerning Carmelo Anthony and his harsh stance that he took against that young brother, no, Anton, you out of pocket there. Hey, with that said, I'm done with it.